Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon made its North American debut with an estimated $23 million at the box office, and around $44 million globally. And here's something that you all might find surprising. That is the biggest opening weekend box office for a Martin Scorsese film since 2010's Shutter Island. Now, at first glance, those numbers would seem unimpressive, especially if you compare them to other modern films' opening weekends. But what I see from that is that clearly there were a lot of people who were interested in this Martin Scorsese film more so than they were interested in some of his others. And here's the thing about Martin Scorsese. He defies conventional thinking when it comes to these kinds of conversations, because he's very clearly making films for a different kind of crowd. A crowd that wants a little bit more out of their entertainment than some other people do.
That makes sense.
His film will most likely stand the test of time. It will have legs because there's things contained within it that are worthy of discussion. And odds are his films are going to get better the more that you watch them. That's the sign of a transcendent filmmaker who this late in his career is apparently still on top of his game. People should be showing appreciation for Martin Scorsese right now because odds are he won't be making films much longer. And the reality is that the art form will be less interesting without him, especially when you take into consideration that there's no one even close to him in the modern generation of filmmakers that has the same level of skills. But instead of people appreciating him, we have people trying to minimalize his accomplishments. And if they had their way, they would push him right out of Hollywood even sooner. And part of that involves attacking the film he just released for all the wrong reasons. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
I want everyone to pay very close attention to this because there is a life lesson to be learned here. When it comes right down to it, sometimes when you are as successful in life as Martin Scorsese is, and you've done more for your industry than almost anyone, and you've received all the accolades, and you've left such an impact on the art form that you will be remembered long after you are gone, no matter who you are, people will still scratch and claw to try to find reasons to criticize you.
Boo this man!
Now, I'm not saying that Martin Scorsese is above criticism. No one is above criticism. But he's done enough that at the very least, he deserves some level of respect when you criticize him. Getting in your feelings because an 80-plus-year-old man doesn't like Marvel films, and then you go out of your way to insult him is not a good look for you. In fact, he's earned the right to give his opinion more so than these entitled, butthurt fanboys have.
It's true.
Moaning and complaining every time his film comes out because they're too long, because you don't have the attention span to stay focused on a film, that's not a good look for you. Now, you can say that longer films aren't for you. I would understand that. But we have people on YouTube with very large platforms, for some reason, who are actively comparing Martin Scorsese films to going to the DMV because they're too long and quote-unquote not fun. That's not a Martin Scorsese problem. That's a you problem. If you're going to have a platform where you talk about movies, you might want to try to watch a bigger variety of films. Just try to expand your mind just a little bit so you can train yourself to properly comprehend films that don't have superheroes in them. This is exactly what Martin Scorsese is talking about when he says that people need to change the way they watch movies.
Makes perfect sense.
And then we have the reactions to Killers of the Flower Moon, which in fairness have been mostly positive. But when I talk about valid and invalid criticism on this channel, this is what I mean. I feel like some people are criticizing this film because they want to diminish its impact for personal reasons, rather than just judging it objectively like you should. So I came across this article from MSNBC that's titled, "Killers of the Flower Moon is a Native American true story told by white people." The issue, according to this article, is that no Native Americans were credited as being involved in the movie's screenwriting, production, or directing creative processes. First off, we need to get past this notion that only people of that ethnicity and heritage can tell stories about that ethnicity or heritage. A great storyteller is a great storyteller no matter what the color of their skin is. And the fact is that one of the best storytellers we have was very passionate about this story and wanted to bring it to life.
Me, right?
Take this into consideration. This is a true story that's pretty much public knowledge. But even if you don't know it, you do realize that anyone, at any time, could have taken it upon themselves to tell this story before Martin Scorsese. Plus, with the diversity push that's going on in Hollywood right now, I have to believe that the opportunity was there. Especially since as recent as 2020, the Native American and Indigenous Writers Committee of the Writers Guild of America West addressed the lack of diversity by sending an open letter advising that the industry needs to start hiring natives in more roles in films other than cultural consultants. So the responsibility to live up to that request falls on the studio, not on Martin Scorsese. What exactly was supposed to happen? Was Martin Scorsese supposed to put all the work into prepping this film and then just hand it off to someone else?
Come on. Do it. Do it!
Not to mention, I understand they want natives to have bigger roles other than cultural consultants, but Scorsese himself worked closely with the Osage chief to make sure everything was authentic, and the film also hired various local Osage talents in production roles, according to this very article. To me, this is a very clear-cut case of moving the goalpost and nothing ever being good enough. Take this as a lesson. No matter how hard you try to conform and do things by modern standards, it will almost certainly never be enough and people will still want more. Or they will use the opportunity to try to discredit you like they are doing with Martin Scorsese. Saying that this film is a missed opportunity because it's being told primarily through the lens of the white male lead is an incredibly close-minded observation, in my opinion.
That's racist.
You see, you're seeing skin color, but what I'm seeing is the proper villainization of the people who were involved with these atrocities. Seeing things from their perspective does not diminish this film's impact. In fact, I would argue that it enhances it. You get to see firsthand the complete disregard that these people had for the Osage. The manipulative tactics that they used to get what they want should be studied in both history classes and film school, as a way of not allowing anything like this to ever happen again. And I say again that Lily Gladstone's character is the heart and soul of the film and our window into this world. So to say that we don't see things from the Osage perspective is ridiculous as well. We very much get to see how these events impacted their community and how they impacted this one woman on a very personal level in excruciating detail. But because people need something to bitch about, all of this wasn't enough. Apparently, Killers of the Flower Moon is not native enough.
Oh, there's a big surprise!
I'm sorry, but this feels more like a personal attack on Scorsese than it does valid criticism to me. Why can't we just be happy that this story is being told at all, and that more people are being informed about it, and may even take the initiative to learn more? No, instead we're going to criticize it because an Osage director isn't directing it, and because Leonardo DiCaprio has too much screen time, I guess. I do believe there are people who genuinely feel this way, and that's fine, I guess. But I also believe that some people are using this to smear Martin Scorsese. The reality is that this movie is most likely going to receive a lot more praise and a lot of accolades. And I do feel like there are some people who are trying to take the wind out of its sails and sabotage the film. To me, this is without a doubt the best or the second best film of the year, and yet this is what people want to talk about. They'd rather create problems where they don't exist than marvel, pun intended, at its excellence.
Whoa, whoa. Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
To me, this is everything that's wrong with film discussion, and why I dismiss a lot of opinions and criticisms as invalid. Maybe if we keep the focus on the films themselves, instead of all the noise around them, we can change the way that people look at films, and maybe, just maybe, people will learn to appreciate great films again.
Y'all be cool. Shut up.